Maintain functional areas is the task.
Mhm.
Let's say if I select something under Prism.
It's enabled. That's what I saw. But let's see. But not everybody.
If Prism is enabled, which means that
Yeah.
your subscription instant, you have a
Yeah.
Prism actually. Okay. So you can see here, these are
Yeah.
all domains
Yeah.
that needs to be used for managing Prism. Okay. So for that, first what you need to do is when you wanted to create anything related to Prism security,
Mhm. View Prism access.
yes,
Okay.
Prism
Okay.
Access Security Group is something that you have to create and
Okay.
have that
Awesome.
permissions, whatever you have attached, right? You will be
Mhm.
attaching those permissions to that, and this will be giving you access to manage anything related to Prism.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And whatever the other details, whatever the other details, education and all, right? Yeah, those comes with other module actually. Okay.
Oh.
So I don't think student we have in this tenant, but domains and all domains, functional areas you should be able to see. But I don't think student is there in this tenant actually. Okay, student module is there. Finance, I think it is there, but student, I don't think it is there. Okay, enroll. And see student related tasks are coming. I don't think student is there, so we should not be able to see anything related to student data.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay. So the other information that I've seen in your domains is adding skills and education for an employee. Okay.
Yeah. It's not there. But,
You can actually go to career and something and you can add. If something you're not seeing, right? If data is not there, you'll not be able to see it. If data is there, you should be able to see like this. Okay. You can actually add something,
Okay. Yeah.
add something under education and see.
Okay.
Okay. But with the default access that is there in this tenant, right, you should be able to see without that permissions also. Because you're logging in, probably you can assign that to Monica. Say, I think Monica also, with the default access that she'll be getting for employee as self-security, right? Some of these
Yeah.
permissions are already added. Okay. So with the default access, even if you won't give the security, right, you should be able to
Mhm.
see as you or as Monica also.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. Because security at employee self is included
Mhm.
with everything actually. At least maximum data
Maybe
elements.
one time I want to understand security as self, employee as self, right? Maybe later, I mean, never, like, we do not have anything in
You can
this case.
actually see,
Yeah.
you can actually access the security group called employee self view security group. These are provided by Workday, but we can
Mm.
attach this security group is provided by Workday, but permissions
Okay.
and all we'll be attaching this. Okay, during first this thing. Yes, so this is not a delivered one actually. Okay, this is
This is just
someone has created this one with the same name as employee self. We'll access the other one. You can see this is a delivered one actually.
no, okay. No.
Okay. Generally, you're seeing a lot of domains are added, but will not have actually. Okay. Employee self will not have anything related to manage pre-hire process and all. You will not see. So all you see is schedule process. Also, you will not see pre-hire. You got
Mm-hmm.
why employee. All the employees will have access to schedule process. Will not have no.
Yeah, only. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So only a regular employee who is employee self should have access to manage their self-service information. Okay. To manage
Only
their
self.
yeah, only self-service information will have actually. Okay. Their employee reviews, their all their self-service information, their own information they should have access to manage actually. Okay.
That is all view and modify, or only view, or like some of them modify.
Yeah, that depends upon if employee should have access to uh,
Okay.
should not have access to edit person information. Only HR should have access to edit person.
Mm.
In that case, you'll not be giving modify access. You'll be giving only view access. But some organizations, it's employee person information, and they're not updating any other person, right? Let's give access to update their own person information. In that scenario, they'll give modify access also.
Okay. Okay.
But everything related to their own data, not related to any other data. So that's the reason
Hmm.
you see self-service as a kind of domain. Okay.
Contracted contingent worker doesn't have anything, right? Here, access generally workday, or do they have
There is
something
another
on?
security group called contingent worker as self. That's how you're seeing employee as self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, contingent worker as self security group is there, delivered by Workday. The moment you hire a contingent worker, automatically that employee, the contingent worker will be part of the security group. Actually. Contingent worker as self.
What they do generally, just they can see something. Okay.
Contingent
Well,
worker, it depends upon. Okay. So some organizations might hire a contingent worker just as a kind
mm,
of interim basis to support some of the integrations or some of the report. In that scenario, they'll give only that
mm,
specific access. But if it is global level contingent workers, right? So whatever the default access should be there. Generally, contingent worker will not have any access. Okay. So
yeah.
though there is a delivered security that Workday offers, most of the organization will not give any access to contingent workers in the system. Okay.
Yes.
So let's say if you're a Workday team member, for time being, Workday as a kind of contracted for Workday team, you're getting hired. So for such kind of positions, you'll do a kind of hard-coded security. You'll add a kind of specific security group that allows you to create a report, that allows you to create integrations and all that you can do.
Oh,
Not
mm,
something as a kind of tenant level. You'll not give any permissions to contractor because some of the contact or some kind of confidential information will be there. If you provide
oh,
any other access, that will get access to that particular domain. So most of
mm.
the organization will play a kind of confidentiality in actually giving any security to the contractor.
One question. Like, let's say, like I'm joined as security administration in some XYZ company.
Mhm.
So, so like generally, what kind of access I'll get, and because I'm joining as security administrator, right? So, do I get full access like employees, or like as a only contingent worker, and they will add some whatever the employees will have, those security groups they will add, or so let's say I am also a contractor, another contractor came on boarded, but not security related, some, design for other reports or something. So what should I, in case if I become a security administrator, what kind of roles I need to assign? Somebody will ask us me to give that kind of information, or do we need to decide?
So, so if you're joined as a security administrator, okay,
Contractor.
someone is
Okay.
asking you to manage the security based on someone is getting hired, okay, based on
Hmm.
their, let's say in the example that they've given, someone has joined to actually manage only reports in the team, okay, should have access to the team. Then it was being asked to you to actually give access to manage the report, okay. So you'll give
Hmm.
access to create only reports, edit reports, modify reports. There is a delivered security group called report writer, okay. So that
Hmm.
report writer security group you will be giving to that person who will be managing reports. That will give access to handle any kind of report request, create a calculated fields also. That will be giving access to that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. At the same time, only non-production contractor has to create report, not in production means you will provide
Hmm.
only that security in non-prod, but not in your production.
What they do with non-prod generally? I mean, prod. Will they create the non-prod the same thing? Where then we need to submit the ticket to production people or access people, or what is their role? Non-prod people role. Let's say January second administrator in non-prod. So I have to create all these groups and whatever the changes we need to make, and we need to file a ticket and we need to update them, or how it going to work?
So if you are actually
mm,
allowing someone to create anything in production.
mm,
If something goes wrong, again a kind of mess will be there. Okay. So most of the customer what they'll think is, let's not give production access for contractor. Okay. Only
mm,
some I'm saying, not everyone. Some organization might think let's not give production access to contractor. Just give a non-production, review that, test that.
mm,
If everything is good, employee will migrate those things to production, not contractor. Employee will take care of whatever contractor, let's say contractor has created a report that is working fine, that is meeting all the expectations. Now
mm,
what business decision would be, employee will actually, anyone in the workday team will actually do a migration what contractor has created, instead of creating migration access for contractor. um, Someone in the team will be actually taking care of that migration. So what contractor has to do, need to share all the information employee, and employee will take care of migration process.
mm,
That is some possible cases. Some other possible cases will have, even a contractor will have access to migrate the things actually. Okay, so will be, but only the thing is, a rigorous testing approval for the testing has to be followed so that there won't be any mistakes or something getting messed after migration process.
mm, mm,
Okay,
mm,
that's the thing that will happen actually.
mm.
So most of the things will happen in that way only. So I worked as a contractor for a lot of customers.
Okay.
Yeah, so the kind of implementation support us. But since I was supporting the implementation, I used to get all the access required. So I used to take care of all the migrations. But there were some other organization related contractors will be there. So they used to have only specific to that particular tenant actually. Okay. So in that tenant
Mm.
they'll develop, and someone like me will actually take care of those developments and will be migrating that to different tenants and finally production.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions other than this?
So that's what I mean. Maybe I was like, I did some of them, but maybe I was
Yeah.
went over
Just
security.
focus on the
And
HR related domains, okay? Personal information, contact, compensation, contact, payroll, benefits, learning
mm,
related things, okay? Focus on the permission because you'll be majorly doing all these things actually, okay? Prism is
mm,
specific to Prism security group, will not attach. If you're creating a Prism permissions, that should not have
mm.
any other permissions actually, okay? So there should be a
Oh,
Prism security group which should have only Prism permissions that you can plug and play. If you want to give Prism access, attach this one. If you don't want to give, just revoke that one. So you'll just do a kind of plug and play.
okay, got it. So this is for one constrained one. Like unconstrained in the same. Similarly, what are the difference between unconstrained? What else we can do? That's like administrator like kind of thing, or even role based also. What are the maybe.
So
Mm,
role-based unconstrained is similar to the
mm,
administrator only. Okay. So if you're
mm,
creating a HR administrator who will have access to all the HR data globally, then if
mm,
again you're creating a unconstrained one for HR, then that doesn't make sense actually. Because
mm,
you already have existing security group for HR administrator which is performing all the things. So you'll not be creating one more this thing, okay, to
mm,
have all the same permissions. So you can use HR administrator in the same process instead of creating a new group that gives these permissions.
mm. So what like no in that case like when they create a constraint when they unconstrained in the particularly like role based one. So what major scenarios people will use? Generally, people create and use not much or like what are the kind of scenarios?
Okay, constraint I told you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whenever you have a kind of requirements that should give access to all the
Mm,
second level operations team actually. Okay, so HR administrator is there, okay, who will be performing all the activities.
mm,
But HR partner who is specific to that country is something who will be doing a major operation stuff actually. Okay.
mm,
So when you have that roles are defining, you'll be getting a kind of requirements. We are creating a HR partner role who will be performing all these activities. So get them all this access so that they can actually perform their activities or all is what your constraint will go. Okay. But unconstrained, right, will actually go for global leaders actually who will be taking care of all the global activities. Let's say HR administrator is there. HR admin who sits in US actually. Okay. That person is a kind of, HR kind of operations lead or someone who actually takes care of all the HR operations globally. So that person might need access to HR administrator because they wanted to access all the employee data globally and see if they can bring back any kind of changes.
Mm-hmm.
So such kind of roles will be needing user-based security group, which are constrained actually. Unconstrained, sorry. Constrained, they'll be needing, they can take care of all the activities.
That understood role, yeah, user based, right? What about role based, unconstrained thing?
Same behavior, okay. You don't have any difference between role-based unconstrained and user-based unconstrained. Only the thing, the name gets changed. Unconstrained, you can take that as a kind of unlimited security, right? In the same
Yeah,
user
yeah.
security group, you're getting unlimited security. So generally, you'll not prefer role-based unconstrained when you have user-based security group. Let's say HR administration is there, okay. Then you are planning for HR partner unconstrained security group, okay, which is a role-based unconstrained one. So now getting the same permission for both might not work actually, okay. Getting same
Mm-hmm.
security groups domains attached to HR. Sorry, what was the other one that was saying? Same security group for user-based security group and for role-based unconstrained one. Okay, giving the same permissions for the two might not be a kind of a real-time case actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you'll go with a user-based security group for all the HR functions. If someone has got a kind of similar requirement that they wanted to have a role-based unconstrained with similar permissions, you need to, as a kind of security administration, you need to tell them that we already have a security group which is created of type of user-based security group, which will be giving you all the same permissions. We don't want to create another security group which will give the same permissions. Okay, so we want to go with the existing one only. Get an approval, will be assigning this to you, is what your approach should be as a security administrator. Okay, that should be the process. Yeah, right?
Yes, I'm here. Clear on that. Yeah.
Generally, you will not create unnecessary security groups. That's a kind of major responsibility for security administrator. Okay. Sometimes, sometimes people will be reaching out. Hey, I wanted to create a position. I wanted to edit a position. Can you create a security group for me that allows me to create a position or not? For just creating a position, why do you create a security group? You'll not write.
Yes.
Not create.
What?
You'll take
Mhm.
your requirements and then see if there is really required. Go in a different process, adding a kind of all the feature roles that this position might be expecting, add those things and have that automated actually.
Mhm.
Okay.
So automated, right? So how to automate in the sense like the process?
Automate in the sense, one process is if something in non-production, okay.
Mhm.
If something, let's say contractor is joined, okay. Contractor has to get the default access every week that will allow the contractor to work without any kind of interruption. But your sandbox will get refreshed every week, okay. But your sandbox will
Mhm.
get refreshed and you'll be creating something in production. Okay. Some EIB integration in production you'll set up and that EIB will process all the security assignments to that employee. And you'll be scheduling that integration and restrict the schedule only in sandbox. Every Sunday, end of evening is what your schedule will be. And
Mhm.
once sandbox get refreshes, automatically your integration will run time and assign all the security.
Mhm.
Okay, so that that process will get automated. There is no manual kind of effort that you should be keeping.
If you
So
don't, I can repeat one more time. So how? I didn't
let's
got.
say let's say you are a kind of a Workday developer. Okay, you are
Okay.
a Workday developer and you have joined as a contract developer for one of the organization. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, um, they have given some permissions for you in Sandbox to create some
Mm-hmm.
integrations, to create some reports. Okay, and they have not given you in production actually. Okay,
Yes.
but your profile is there in production, but they have not given access for you in production.
Mm-hmm.
So they have given some access in Sandbox, and every week Sandbox is getting refreshed. Whatever the access that they've given is getting wiped off actually, and you're supposed to again reach out to them. Hey, I've refreshed my I lost security. I'm not able to create anything. So to
Mm-hmm.
avoid such kind of discrepancies, what they will do is they'll create a kind of EIB integration with all the security group assignment web service. They'll be assigning that one.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be creating an integration. They'll be assigning all these things, and they schedule that integration in Sandbox, not in production. They'll make a schedule in production, and they'll deploy that production to Sandbox. and schedule that integration in non-production. So whenever it runs, it updates this information and have your security working without any kind of interruption, rather than getting holded off because of these things. You can actually have your security get updated right after refresh happens, so that Monday when you join, your impact will not be making any kind of huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
That
Got it.
that will happen actually.
Okay.